Hello, thank you for this opportunity. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Ayu Lityaningrum. I am a graduate student of Linguistic Descriptive Department from Universitas Indonesia. And now I'm going to present about my research entitled A Multimodal Semiotic Discourse Analysis to Reveal Sexual Harassment on Direct Message of Social Media. And this presentation will be divided into 5 chapters. The first chapter is Introduction. And then the existence of social media makes it easier for users to express their opinions, ideas, and so on. Furthermore, the emergence of emoji in social media also adds to the attractiveness and efficiency on expressing opinions and ideas only in an image. Besides, with the existence of social media, users often do not pay attention to the rules when they deliver a message in social media. Therefore, there has been an increasing of sexual harassment cases on social media, especially in pandemic years, cited from Catatan Tahunan Komnas Perempuan 2020. And in addition, in Indonesia, the articles or pasal about sexual harassment through verbal, especially on social media, is still ambiguous, since there is no follow-up about RUU PKS. Therefore, people do not feel bad about doing sexual harassment through verbal way. And one of the example, there is a screenshot chat indicates sexual harassment case through verbal experienced by someone through DM or direct message Instagram, then she uploaded on Twitter. And in the screenshot, it can be seen there is also using verbal and visual modes every single message. Therefore, the case is very interesting. Then this research investigates the relationship between verbal and visual mode to reveal sexual harassment case in linguistic perspective. The limitation of this research are first, analyzing chat by sender, and the second is analyzing only using additional and interpersonal meaning. And therefore, the objectives of this research is to describe the relationship between two modes in case of reveal sexual harassment through social media from linguistics perspective. And then the second chapter is the theory. And you can see in the slides, I used the main theory and the supported theory. The supported theories are linguistics forensic from Olson 2008 and emoji from Denesi 2017. These theories are used to give an insight about another application in linguistic field. But to make it clear, the main theory is used in this research is multimodality semiotics by Kress and Lewin 2006, which starts from language as a design system, then go through into multimodality, which means there is more than one mode in a discourse to deliver a message. The main idea of multimodality cannot separate from metafunction of a language by Halliday. That means additional, interpersonal, and textual. And in this research, I focus on additional and interpersonal meaning. And then the multimodality is divided into 2 modes. The first mode is verbal modes. The first is additional meaning, or called as transitivity. It includes participants, process, and circumstance. Process, it could be mental, material, and so on. And the interpersonal meaning contains mood and residue. Next, the additional meaning of visual modes, called as representational. You can take a look at the table that are divided into 2 representations, narrative and conceptual representation. Then for the interpersonal meaning contains gaze, size of frame, and the angle. And then there is also the previous research. You can take a look at the gap between previous research and the recent research. Starts from data, theory, and the findings, and it could a little bit different. And then the next chapter is methodology. This research uses descriptive, qualitative methodology in order to gain a deep result, and the data sources are divided into 2 parts. The first one is primary data, which primarily the screenshots of DM Instagram, which contain visual mode, which are emoji, and verbal mode, which is terms might have dual meaning because the visual mode. The second one is the secondary data from tweets reply. The reason I choose the primary data because it contains verbal and visual modes in a sexual harassment context, which attract me to conduct this research in linguistics perspective. And I also use the secondary data to prove and strengthen if the results show proving about there is a sexual harassment case. And then, in order to collect the data, I use documentary research, which using screenshot from social media. First, I use advanced search feature on Twitter to find the owner of the account, then ask the owner to save the picture and ask about the permission if the screenshot is going to conduct in this research. And then to analyze the data, the writer used multimodality theory by Kress and Ewan 2006. First, divide into a clause, then analyze the transitivity followed by interpersonal meaning. Then, for the visual mode, also analyzes the representational followed by interpersonal meaning. The result of the analyzing modes will be interpreted by the writer. And then the result shows that the processes of the data contain 12 clauses, which contains relational attributive, relational identifying, material and mental process. Then the interpersonal meanings of the data are 10 classes categorized as declarative and the 2 classes categorized as interrogative. For the visual mode, which contain 4 emojis, the additional meaning of the data contains suggestive, symbolic, and also reactional, especially non-transactional process. And the interpersonal meanings of the visual mode are demand and overgaze and close-shot frame and the eye level angle. And then I also take a look on you how I interpreted the data, the example of the interpreted. And you can take a look in the datum 1. There is a clause and the process is relational, and then it contains declarative form, and then the visual modes, it contains narrative and conceptual representation, and it has demand and close shot and eye level. What is that mean? It doesn't always mean that the sender gives positive statements. How can I say that it is a statement? Because it is a declarative form. It means the sender trying to inform about admire. But if you take a look at the emoji, the visual mode, which has demanding because it has gaze plus gaze, then has a close shot and the angle and the size of frame, which means the sender wants to build a close distance with the target, and therefore the sender can be interpreted not only admire but also wants a sexual activity. And from those all the result in this result, these results, I conclude the first is visual mode can extend and explain verbal mode, and visual modes, that is emojis, categorized as emotive function because it explains the emotional of the sender. And then the second is data categorizes as sexual harassment through verbal, and also strengthens by the secondary data, which is the reply of the tweets. And then the third is by using the relationship between verbal and visual modes, it can be used to reveal sexual harassment case through verbal way. And then the last is the findings of this research is also to prove the statement of Denisi 2017 about the emoji were now part of how we express ourselves and is also usable as evidence in court trials. It means the results proving that emoji can be used as evidence in crime using language. And then, thank you for this presentation, and thank you for your attention.